Hi, my name is Noel Davis with Wormiculture, and today we're going to cover something that is not really worm related, but is in a way. So I've always had an issue when composting with worms that there's a lot of things you're not supposed to put in your worm bin, or there's a lot of things that if you put them in, they take forever to break down. And one example of that is corn cobs. These things take forever to break down. I've had them in there a year later, even sometimes 2 years later, and they're really hard to move around. The worms don't seem to really work through them that much, and they take a long time to break down. Then we have other examples of things you're not supposed to put in your bin, like lemons or oranges or citrus in general, or pineapples they say not to put in. I've put all these things in my bins, but I don't think it really has helped. And a lot of times it hurts the bin. All the worms move out of that area until the microbes can work it out and get it moving on that food that isn't really meant for worms, and then eventually they come back in and they'll consume that material. But it takes a long time, and I'm getting a little bit impatient with that, and it's a little bit harder. It's why I have so many bins, because you put something like that in, well, it takes, a year to get rid of it. Well, you can't really throw in a whole bunch of more food, otherwise they'll never work on those corn cobs again, or that citrus. They're going to stay away from it if there's other food to eat. If you have a choice between, having filet mignon or Spam, most people will choose the filet mignon because it's just a lot nicer to eat. It's not saying that Spam's bad or horrible, but it's just the fact that this is a preferable food. So I'm going to try something new with my with getting rid of these foods that don't belong in a worm bin, and that is Bokashi, sorry, Bokashi. And I have bought some Bokashi bran, and I'm going to show you how to make a very simple Bokashi bucket. So right now you can go online and you can find them for like $150, and it's a bucket with a mesh inside and has a spigot on the bottom, and that just seems ridiculous to me, because I can buy 2 buckets for about $3 a piece and a lid for a good lid for $7. It just seems ridiculous that something that cost me, let's say, $15 to make, I could spend $150 on to get. So I'm going to show you how to make this. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to not load anything in it right now, but we're going to get it set up so it's ready to go, and then later on I will show you how this works. And you can add this stuff to the worm bin from my understanding, but they don't recommend it. They usually recommend that you work it into your soil. So first off, let's go to the materials here. So what we have is a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and then we have this Gamma Seal lid. Now, the Gamma Seal lid, what I like about it, it's a screw lid. So you screw it, comes off, just like that. It has this nice seal here, and that creates an airtight seal when you screw this down all the way. So when you put this on, you screw it in all the way. Let's get it lined up here. So you screw it all the way on. This is now airtight. So no air is going in and out through the lid, and this is airtight. There's a rubber seal in here as well, so it's airtight to the bucket. Nothing is getting in and out. There's no air, because this is very different than worm composting. You do not want air in your bins for Bokashi. It's actually it's more of a fermentation process where you put in the materials and this bran, and then it ferments it. And what it's doing is it's kind of like pickling it in a way. And then once it does that, it's not really breaking it down, but it's making it easier for the microbes to move in and consume it. So in the process of doing that, it becomes somewhat acidic, so it's not good. You don't want to put worms in your Bokashi bucket. They will die. They will have zero chance, and you have just killed a ton of worms if you put them in there, because it's an acidic process with little to no air. So do not do that. But afterwards, you can take it out, and you can put it in your worm bin on like a side. So if you have a worm bin this big, you take this little side over here, you can add a little bit of Bokashi. You don't want to add too much because it's acidic. You probably also want to throw some eggshells on it or something like that that'll help buffer it a little bit. And it will break down very quickly as the worms can move into it, and it becomes more of a neutral pH. So that's the way Bokashi works. Now, creating the bucket. So we have our bucket, we have our lid, and then we have, right over here, we have a second bucket. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our first bucket, drill holes in the bottom, and then you nest it in the other bucket like that, and you put the Gamma Seal lid on top. That is essentially it. What you do then is you put in a piece of newspaper on the bottom to kind of block the holes off so food won't get through. You put some food in, put some Bokashi bran in, you put some food in, put some bran in, and you keep doing this until it's layered up to the top almost. And then you close it up and you just let it sit for about 2 to 4 weeks. And at that point, it's done. The process of fermenting the food is done, and then you can put it in your garden. So what we're going to do right now, though, is we are going to drill the holes in our bucket. So I'm going to move the camera down here. So I have my bucket here. I've got my drill. I'm using a 3/8 inch drill bit, and I'm just going to drill some holes. And that's really, I'm going to put one here in the middle. That's really all you need to do. I don't think you need a whole lot for these. The idea is that you don't want a whole lot of oxygen coming up through here, so it's just really just to drain off any liquids that go down through the bin. So what I'm going to do now, flip this over, make sure there's no, just kind of cleaning out any plastics that are in here. And as you can see, I've got plastics on the floor that came through, which is fine. I'm going to take my other bin that I'm going to use here, and I'm going to put this in here. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my Gamma Seal lid. I'm going to take off my sticker on the bottom of it first. And I'm going to push this on. Actually, you know what? Instead of putting pressure on 2 buckets, I'm going to put this bucket right on the floor and do it. All right, this is not going on the way I expected. I've done this multiple times now. I'm not kidding. There we go. There we go. So the lid is now on. Hopefully this still closes nice and easy. Yep, that closes nice and easy. Airtight seal, holes in the bottom. I'm going to put this in here. And then you're going to want, when you open it up, you're going to want to hold this so you can twist this off. Okay. So I have my bucket with the holes. I'm going to put a piece of newspaper in the bottom here. Or I guess you could use a piece of cardboard or something that's just going to stop the air from getting up through. And hold your food in, so that way if you have any small pieces of food that are in there, they're not going to go through. So I have my piece of newspaper. I'm just going to fold that like that. I'm going to put this in the bottom. Make sure it's nice and flat against the bottom. Just like that. And now, if I wanted to, if I was going to start this today, I would throw in some of this Bokashi bran. Probably like a tablespoon or so. Just a little bit. Throw in some food. If I wanted to, I could put another piece of newspaper to kind of really press it down. Because you don't want air, so you have all this extra air in here if you only have a little bit in the bottom. So you kind of want to compress it down. And a lot of people, it looks like, have used old plates and pushed the plates down and then just left them there, so that way it holds the least amount of air. And we're going to try this out and see how this works. And I can't get it going today. I don't have enough materials to put inside of it, but you can do some things that are not really good in your worm bin, and also some things that you should never put in your worm bin, such as meats can go in here, and dairy. So you could throw cheeses in here, or your chicken bones, like we use a lot of rotisserie chickens, or we cook full hens or turkeys. You can break those up and throw the bones in, and it will just slowly ferment them, and then it should break down nice and easily, as far as I can understand. So this is the first thing. We made the Bokashi bucket system here. We're going to try this out, and I will keep you updated on the progress of this. Every once in a while I'll take a video, but I'm not going to leave it open too long while we're doing these videos. So if you have any more questions, you can of course ask in the comments, or you can also look this up online. I found it online as I was trying to find a way to compost other materials that could not go into worm bins, because I don't like throwing them out in the trash. I'd rather not do that unless I absolutely have to. So if you're like me, this might be a new way to get going, and see if you can also find another way to remove items from the waste stream. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, again, leave a comment. please click thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.